Alright, before I begin, I would like everyone to imagine something. So imagine that waking up for tomorrow morning and then receive an invoice not from your banks, not from your electricity provider, but from the natures instead. So ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Sumintar, your speaker for today. And the topic of today would be, what if nature sends you an invoice? So the invoice includes the very details in that, including 200 liters of water consumed today, electricity used to charge your device, as well as the food waste that you consume after lunch, and as well as the carbon emission that you produce the clothes that you're wearing. And the bottom of the lines of the invoice includes payment due the futures of the next generation. So would you still continue the resources the way that you do today? Today, I would like to talk about the economic resources as well as the global sustainability. But I don't want to talk about it as an economic student, but I would like to talk about it as a human beings as well. Growing up in the province, located in the middle of Cambodia, I thought that economic resources were simply touchings in economic textbook. However, including natural resources, human resources, capital resources, and entrepreneurship, I memorized the definition because they probably appear on the exam papers. But I never truly understood their value. Economic resources are everywhere. They are in the water that we drink, the electricity that we use, the food that we eat every day, and the smartphone in our pockets. Without these resources, our life would simply stop. And the problem is not about the way that we use the resources, but the problem is that we become so accommodated to them that we no longer notice their values. Think about your daily routines as a human being. So how many times that you turn all those faucets without thinking about where the water comes from, and how often do you throw away the unfinished foods when you are full? And how many times that have you upgrade your phone simply because of the new model release? So for many of us, resources have become the convenient thing rather than necessity. And perhaps that is the greatest challenge of sustainability today. We take things for granted because they are easily accessible to us. And for a very long time, sustainability felt like a distant concept to me and to everyone around me. So when I heard the word sustainability, I immediately thought about the climate change, about the planting the tree, and as well as the using reusable straw. It sounds like something that the government, environmental activists, or largest company or the organization should carry about. That perspective changed when I had the opportunity to work with the Running Water project in Kampong province. So becoming the part of that project, I truly understand that having access to clean running water every day is also essential for human beings. And every morning, I simply walk into a bus room, turn out the faucets, and expected clean water to flow out. It was such a normal part of my life that I never stopped and appreciated that. But when I visit to that community, I realized that something I consider ordinary was a privilege for other people. Accessing to the clean water is not merely about drinking. It affects health, education, productivity, and also dignity. And without reliable access to the water, something that simple as the cooking, washing hands, or maintaining good hygiene, becoming a daily challenge for them. And standing there, I found myself about a simple but a powerful question. I realized that sustainability is not only about preserving resources for future generations. It is also about ensuring that people have fair access and equitable for all of those resources. Sometimes when we talk about global sustainability, we imagine smart city like powered by renewable energies by a billions-dollar environmental projects. But sustainability here can also look like a community finally gather access in something as a fundamental as a clean waters, as I said before. And what it touched me here is that I also experience complaining about the internet connections that is slow when my phone's battery die after a few hours. Meanwhile, other people in underserved communities still waiting for access for the life most basic resources. And global sustainability is often defined as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability for a future generation to meet their own needs. I would like to add something to that definition. So global sustainability refers to the needs of people who are being overlooked today. Because what's good is preserving resources for the future of millions of people still could not access them in the present. And sustainability is not about sacrificing economic growth. So in fact, economic growth and sustainability can coexist. Sustainable development creates jobs, improve community, as well as ensuring that the resources are used responsibility and efficiency for the people. The real question that we should ask is not how much more that we can take from the planets, but rather than simply ask the questions, how can we use what we already have to create opportunity for everyone? Economic resources are limited, so human creativity is not. We have the knowledge, technology, and resources to make a difference. However, the greatest challenge is not the lack of resources, but it is the lack of awareness and responsibility of us as human beings. Before I conclude, I would like to leave you a final thought on this. So imagine that if the natures send us an invoice every single day, not asking for money, but asking whether we use its resources responsibly. So would you waste less? Would we consume differently? And would we become more grateful for that? So most importantly, would we think about the people who still not have the access to the resources that we often take it for granted? What I have learned from that project is that sustainability requires empathy in that. It begins when we recognize that access to resources should not be a privilege enjoyed by a few people, and because we are not the owners of the planet and its resources. We are a mere caretaker, borrowing them from the future generations while sharing them with the present ones. So the next time that you turn into the faucets, charge your phones, or enjoy a simple meal, I hope that you will remember this once. You're not simply consuming the resources, you are making a choice about the kinds of futures and the kind of the world that you want to create in the next futures. And because sustainability is not about saving the us, it is about ensuring that everyone, both today and tomorrow, has the opportunity to live with dignity. Thank you.